Whew, we've come an incredibly long way. Well done for getting this far. I hope you've had a lot of fun. I hope you're enjoying it. But let's now just quickly give a summary of what we've done and where we can place our JavaScript code to speed things up. I've split it up into 6 main categories. Right, the most obvious, number 1, is you can place your JavaScript code anywhere. But then you just need to realize that you're going to be blocking the DOM at the point your parser gets to your script. And if it's a very simple site, this may be perfectly fine and plausible. 2, we can place our JavaScript below the main DOM directly above our closing body tag. This is website 101. This is what we've all been told to do. And although it's good practice to do this, it might be suboptimal. And I say that because think about what it is that's going to be happening when you put that JavaScript at the bottom. You would agree with me that before the final render, before the final paint your screen, those JavaScript files have to be executed, don't they? For those reasons, sometimes placing the JavaScript file directly above your closing body tag isn't quite the most optimal thing you can do. 3, if your JavaScript code doesn't rely on the DOM, we can use the async attribute. So what does this mean? Well, this just means if your code doesn't rely on your DOM being loaded and it runs more as part of teeing off things for other scripts in your document, then you can place the script at the top of your page with the async attribute set on it, and your browser will determine when the most optimal point is for it to execute that file, and it will fetch it in the background, remember? Asynchronously. How cool is that? And number 4, if our JavaScript code does rely on our DOM being fully constructed, then we can use defer. And the benefit with using defer is that it holds off executing that JavaScript file just before the moment of DOM content loaded event occurs. Well, Clyde, you might be asking, isn't this just the same as placing our JavaScript below the DOM directly above our closing body tag? And it almost is the same. That's a very good question. But with defer, remember what we're doing? We're allowing the browser to fetch JavaScript asynchronously in the background. So by the time the DOM is fully loaded, the JavaScript file is already there and it can immediately execute. Whereas if we just place it above the closing body tag, remember what happens then? Well, your browser's paused, so it can't fetch any other file when it hits that script tag. Cool. Number 5, if you really want to be specific and these don't quite give you what you want, then you can build your own custom load event. And you've obviously got a few different methods. We've seen that we can add our own event listener to the window object called load. We've done that. We've seen it. It's been awesome. Anyway, and then the last one is number 6, and that is preload. And preload gives you a lot of flexibility because it allows you to tell the browser to download and cache a resource, like a script or a style sheet, as soon as possible. So it's very helpful when you need a specific resource a few seconds after loading the page and you want to speed up the critical rendering path. Remember this with the preload. This is a very important point. The browser doesn't do anything with the resource after downloading it. By using preload, scripts aren't executed, style sheets aren't applied. They are just cached so that when something else needs it, it's available immediately. So think about preloading as literally just prefetching. It's you telling the browser, hey, get this resource as quickly as possible so when our code needs it, it's there. Hope it's making sense. And again, well done for getting this far. I'll see you in the next section.